Okay, we've spent some time building our diagram, adding quick entries, and then making adjustments and organizing the diagram. Now let's spend some time on diagram structure. And we're going to start out this time on the Mac. One of the most useful tools for diagram structure is folding nodes, and there's several ways you can do this on the Mac. The first is you can just go up to the individual node and you can right-click on it, and then go down and just click on Fold Nodes. And when you do that, you can see it folds all the nodes in that list. You can expand that by just clicking on the ellipses button right next to it, and it brings them back. You can also fold nodes up here in the toolbar. There's a Fold Nodes button. I'll go ahead and expand those back out again. And there's also a keyboard shortcut. Just hit Command, period. Just like the period is for the ellipses, you can see it can fold a note. If you tap it again, Command period, it will go ahead and expand the note back out. So folding notes, there's several ways to do it, and it's very useful as you're trying to focus in on different areas of your MindNode. You can navigate through all your different nodes using arrow keys once you've got them selected. See, I'm going up and down. For instance, if I went down and hit Command period on all of these, it allows me to really focus in on just the ones I want to see. And that brings me to the next useful tool for diagram structure, and that's just rearranging the nodes. And again, there are several ways you can do it. The first is just using your mouse. You can click and drag a node and it'll move around the screen. And I have automatic layout turned on, so it's going to make everything look nice and clean as I move things around the screen. You can also do that with keyboard shortcuts, though. If you have a node selected and you hold down the Command key and the arrows, you can move nodes around. So I've got the Command key held down on this retail distribution. I'll click one down arrow and you can see it just moved it out. Then I'll hit Command period to expand the node. If I go to the right, it'll move it to the right side of the node. I'll go ahead and move the product development node over the same way. And you can see I'm very easily moving things around my screen just using the keyboard. If you use Option instead of Command, you can just move the node incrementally. Once you get these keyboard shortcuts under your finger on the Mac, you're going to really like them. It's a great way to kind of change the way your diagram looks and give your brain different ways to look at the information you've been collecting. Often when you do that, you'll start to see cross connections. Like there's often cross connections between product development and marketing. So I can draw a cross connection between those two nodes. I'm going to do that by a couple ways. Once again, first I'll do it just using the mouse. You right click on it and drag down to create connection. And I can just drag that connection over to the marking arm and click the mouse, and then I've just created a cross connection. You can make adjustments by just grabbing onto it, and you see make it look a little better. You can also make changes to it using the formatting inspector if you want. If you want to change the color or the way the line is drawn, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. Another way I could have done this, rather than using the mouse on the object, is if I have the object selected, there's a cross connection button right here. I just click that, and then I drag it over, and I have the same result. One of my absolute favorite tools in MindNode is the outline view, because diagrams are great, and it's a great way to let your brain kind of cook on how this stuff fits together. But outlines are good too, and why not have it all in one application? MindNode does that for you. On the Mac, just click on this button right here, and it shows you an outline view of the entire diagram you've been building. In viewing this outline view, I can fold up nodes if I want, or I can expand them back out. Often as I'm finishing up a complex diagram, I'll go to this outline mode and discover relationships between nodes that I hadn't really seen before, or even come up with entirely new nodes that pop out to me when I see it in this linear fashion. Also from this window, you can search your MindNode. So if I'm going to be looking for the word endorsement, you can see there it is. And then I could use my keyboard shortcuts to navigate around the diagram. Now let's see some of these same tools in action over on the iPad. Now I'm back over on my iPad with the same document, and it's synchronized over with no trouble at all using iCloud Sync. And I want to do some of the same tricks. To fold a node, I can just tap on it. I'm going to go ahead and tap on this research node, and then I'm going to tap on it again to bring up this contextual menu, and then I'll tap on the word fold. And you can see I just folded the node. I can tap on the ellipses then to expand it back out. You can also do that through the action inspector. So I'm going to go up here in the tool palette in the upper right corner and tap on the inspector button. And this one with the 3 ellipses on it, that's the action inspector. And there's some of the most common tasks you're going to do with your nodes here. And one of those is to fold or unfold a node. You can see there it is. I'll tap on it. It folds it. I tap it on again, and I can unfold it. Arranging nodes is even easier on the iPad than it is on the Mac because you're just using your fingers to drag things around. And you'll note as I did it, it kept those relationships, those connections will stay no matter where I move the nodes to. All right, one of the nice things about working with structure on the iPad is that you can pinch to zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and pinch into this retail distribution node. Then I'll tap on it. And using the action inspector, I'll go ahead and unfold that node. And I can make that just the focus of my attention on my screen. You can also use the keyboard shortcuts that I talked about on the Mac on the iPad. I've got this iPad connected to a smart keyboard, so if I hold down the command key and use the arrow keys, like I did on the Mac just a few minutes ago, you can see I can move the nodes around the diagram just like I did on the Mac. I'm going to go ahead and hold down the command key so you can see when you're working with the structure of a diagram, there are 4 separate screens of keyboard shortcuts you can use with your iPad. This application is super powerful with the keyboard on the iPad. If you want to draw cross connections, you can do that. One, by just tapping on the node and then tapping on the word connect, and then tapping on the place you're making the connection. And now we've got a cross connection. I can draw a little curve in there if I want. I can select that and delete it. Another way you can add one is to have the node selected and then go up to that action inspector and then tap on the word create connection and tap on the destination, and you get the same result. There's also an outline view on the iPad. Just tap on this outline button in the tool palette. And you can see there's a search bar there. I'll show you that in a minute. But if you drag up, you get an outline of the current existing diagram. Just like on the Mac, you can scroll through and look for it, get ideas about how you're doing. With these little disclosure arrows, you can fold and unfold nodes in your diagram, and you can see that happens live. And if you want to search your diagram, you can just go to the search bar and type anything that you're looking for. I'll type in the word acquisition, and you can see there it is. If I tap on it, it takes me right to that node in my diagram. Whether you're working on a Mac, an iPad, or even an iPhone, diagram structure is a breeze with MindNode.